What's up, YouTube? It's Thomas Balaban from the Team Afterlife. I came today to give a small video about making basic pro plays, things you should have in your mind for every play you make during your turn. I'm not going to cover your opponent's turn right now because that's a whole different subject. There are some different things you must think about, consider, some things you probably should be trying to bluff. And this is advice I was given to by a pro. So, whenever you go into any kind of situation on your first turn, you should always have 4 different thoughts going through your head. Thought 1, what if my opponent stops me? What if I go play tour guide and they decide to flip Solemn Judgment on me? Am I able to capitalize on that? Hopefully you had the time to think of this, have a follow-up play. Hopefully you have a follow-up play for next turn, because now they just wasted half their life points getting rid of your tour guide play, which is pretty detrimental to them. But think of it as a 1-for-1, and they had to pay the cost of the card. Things like Bottomless Trap Hole is another thing you should consider, like whenever you go to Exceed Summon into like Leviathan Dragon, consider to yourself, what if they can stop that card? What kind of position does that leave me in? Okay, thought 2. So what if my plan does go through? Some people, what they will do is go out, start doing their combo, and halfway into the combo realize they're 100 points short of killing their opponent, and there's no way they can get over that 100 extra points. And they just wasted all their cards trying to do this. The problem with things like this is, besides stuff happening like that, is you need to be able to capitalize on card advantage. Need to have more cards than your opponent, be able to have better cards, and be prepared. So what if my tour guide play goes through? Should the first thing I do is go for Sangan, give me 1 second here, go for Sangan, and be like, oh, let's overlay into Leviathan Dragon because that's a good move. It's turn 1. Why would I do that to myself right now? Do I have a follow-up play? Am I trying to loop them? Do I honestly need Sangan in my graveyard for some unforsaken reason? Probably not. If I have no follow-up play, I'd probably just leave them on the field just like this. That's going to be a +1 for me as soon as they kill my Sangan. Okay, next thing you should have going through your mind. What if my field is white? There's so many basic destruction cards these days. You have Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute, things you should always keep in mind, because you can go try to capitalize on your opponent in some way, shape, or form, try to get card advantage, try to bluff them by setting 5 useless back row. Let's say have Heavy Storm, he just wasted 5 cards. What if you summon like 5 monsters, and you're like, oh man, I was 100 points away from killing them, they Dark Hole you next turn. Or even better, you summon the 5 monsters, and they flip that Torrential on you that's been sitting there the whole entire time. And you always should wonder to yourself, where does this situation leave me? If I end up with a tour guide Sangan on field, and I have, let's say, Effect Veiler, Monster Reborn, Book of Moon, Solemn Judgment, I know this is broken as fuck hand. But anyway, let's just say this is my situation right now. These are what's left in my hand. I have a Wind-Up Rabbit in the graveyard. So, should I play Monster Reborn, grab the rabbit, try to loop them or something like that? Probably not. That Monster Reborn is probably going to become more useful to me in the future. I could go for a rat with the Zen Mighty play and get the rabbit back. That's a +1 towards me. But is it really worth wasting the Sangan that early? Because Sangan can get me something like that rat from my deck that I'd be able to Monster Reborn later. Just, you really have to wonder, per situation, what can I do? If you have to, every time you play, even at locals, just sit there and make your opponent wait for 2 minutes for you to think at every play, even if it's a stupid, simple play. I know a guy that's done this. I've been helping him get better at the game for a while now. He's got really good at predicting his opponent's plays by doing this. Cards you should always keep in mind while playing the game, just in case your opponent might have them. You have your Heavy Storm, Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole. Oh, let me flip these around for you. Your Effect Veiler. No, getting Effect Veiler sucks. Monster Reborn, Are they going to be able to make some massive comeback play from that? Book of Moon, Mystical Space Typhoon. Mystical Space Typhoon is basically because you can get +1s from it, or something along them lines. Mirror Force. A lot of the times you might run into that while it's face down. And the Solemn Warning, I kind of included a Solemn Judgment, but it's something you should pay attention to. Basic trap cards, Bottomless, Compulsory, Dimensional Prison. Another really big one is Gores. Get ready for Gores play. Don't blindly attack an opponent that might have Gores. Quick tip, if your opponent is sitting here, and they're like looking at their calculator like this, they're shuffling their hand, going like this, looking at their calculator, looking at your monster's attack points, and they're acting all paranoid about something, they probably have Gores. I've been able to predict Gores like accurately, like around 80% of the time I've tried this, and I know people that are a lot better at it than I am. So it's always something to keep in mind. Where is it going to leave you at? Thanks for watching. Please comment/subscribe.